What's up, guys? It's Missy. I'm back with another SimCity Buildit video. Today we're going to be talking about groups and what you can do to make your group better. So the very first thing is having the right person in your group being in charge, right? Now, these are my opinions on how to run a group based on, I don't know, 6 years of playing the game and watching how people kind of interact with each other. Now, the first thing is that you have to decide what type of group you want it to be, okay? So a lot of people who are in charge, they really don't do much leadership. For example, they just kind of let the group do whatever, whenever, and they don't really have any structure, any rules, anything, you know? And for people who don't like being told what to do, that's great. But for people who really want a club where you can actually benefit and prevail, being successful is everything. And a lot of people don't realize how just their actions individually kind of reflect on the whole group as a whole. For example, we started a new system in our group that I wanted to share with you guys so that if you guys have a similar, thing where you guys are following the Missy's Building Guide or you guys like to help each other, that you can do so. Now, a lot of people come to your club and they just want a handout, right? They join in and they just want to be given free stuff, free rares and things like that. But if you have somebody who's in the group who is beneficial to the group, who helps and posts and earns points and things like that, those are the types of players that you want to help. Those are the ones that you want to keep. Now, we don't run an open group anymore because too many people come and go and they have this this way of just changing their name and trying to come back in and kind of wreak havoc on the club. So I recommend screening the people before they join in. Maybe you can take your post to Facebook and say, hey, this is our club. This is what we do. We do war this many times a week, and this is when. Or we don't do war at all. Whatever the case may be. I recommend doing war for the purpose of the contest because a lot of players right now really want to hit the top of the leaderboard, and it's near impossible to do so if they can't do all of their assignments, especially if they are high-level players. Now, one of the systems that we started with is okay. So here's our club stats here. As you can see, everybody's name has some digits after it. Now, the system that we put together is anybody who is maxed out on land and storage puts an M. Okay? Anybody who is looking for storage puts an S dash their base storage amount. Anybody who's looking for storage and dozer still would put S slash base storage slash D. Okay? This allows us to know who is still needing dozer and who's still needing storage, how quickly they're going up, and kind of keep everybody constantly progressing. Now, in order for people to be able to help one another, they have to be able to do good themselves, right? So when you look at it, everybody in here, I would say almost everybody in here, aside from maybe one or two players, followed the Missy's Building Guide or is following it. Now, most of these players are in a position where they can afford to help other people, right? Because they're maxed out. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that the majority of your club is playing efficiently. Now, the only way to really know for sure is to kind of try to be involved in their stats and things like that. And a lot of groups just aren't. Our group is a little unique that way. It's a little different because of my YouTube channel and my experience. I try to bring people in that really want to learn, people who play the game every day, who are sick and tired of struggling and paying EA a bunch of money. Those are the players that I look for. They're the players that I want to help progress. I'm not looking for somebody who is just wanting to open up the game here and there and do whatever, right? So how can you help people progress? How do your actions reflect on your group? If your storage is bad, that means that your ability to put up good points is bad, right? Like, you can only put up good points if you can do your assignments. You can only do your assignments if you can be prepared, and you can only be prepared if you have storage. So it's really a chain reaction. Okay, let's talk about another way low storage affects your productivity or whatever in a group, and that is that you can't hold very many items, so you can't fill very many requests. That means that you're putting more requests on the group than you are filling, right? Which means you're putting more strain on your group. All of these ways, your incompetence or your lack of progress is affecting your group. So getting educated on how to be a better player for yourself is going to help your club. If everybody was a good player, the club would be more successful. And people don't see that. They think that what other people do has no reflect on them. And that's just simply not true. You know, they think, well, what does my game have to do with your game? Well, no, yeah, okay, your lack of storage doesn't affect my lack of storage, but your lack of storage affects our group as a whole, as a team, and the way that we are able to move forward together. You know, if you're a war club, for example, you don't want people that have low war cards. Why? Because their scoring affects your team. You could have somebody in there that's scoring higher than them, which means your team does better. You don't add somebody with a broken leg to a soccer tournament team, right? Because they bring the whole team down. So you really have to weed out the weak, the people who aren't really doing anything or who are taking advantage of a good spot, okay? Now, unfortunately, what a lot of people do is they get comfortable in a group, they get to know people, they get to become friends with them, and then they think they can just slack off. Now, you can still be friends with somebody, but don't expect your friendship to just give you a free pass to be unsuccessful. That's not fair to everybody else in the group. Now, another thing is the trading system. A lot of people, the main reasons why most clubs are unsuccessful in terms of just unpleasant to be in is because people just do whatever the hell they want, right? So, like, let's just say I ask for an item and somebody else asks for that item. It's a race to see who gets there first in most other clubs. It's more so like, well, whoops, not in our club. It's first come, first serve. You know, in other clubs, you'll see people all the time. Have you ever been on Global Market? You see rares for sale. If you look up at the top where the name of their city is, it shows the little icon, this little shield icon here. And that tells you that they're in a group, okay? They're in a club, and they're selling their rares. Think about that for a minute. How well is their team working together? Because you know that the chances of every single person in that group being maxed out is slim to none, right? So they don't care about each other as a team. They more so are just there, right? So it really depends on what atmosphere you want for your group. Other thing is a lot of people with a good club, they don't interact outside the game. One of the things that we do with our group is we have a Facebook group chat where every single person that's within the group is added to it, and that way whenever there's an announcement that has to go up, whenever I put out a new video, whenever you know, we're kind of having issues with somebody not following rules, things like that, then we can post it in the Facebook chat to know that everybody was informed. One of the drawbacks of SimCity is their communication system. You know, the way that the chat works and the fact that you can't privately message means that everything is always out for everybody to see, and you never really know if anybody's actually on, right? So this allows you to communicate better privately. It's something that can pop up on your screen with the chat bubble if you don't have Apple. And that way you can keep your game open. Whereas Discord and things like that, you have to actually close the game in order to type and stuff like that. Now, I have Motorola, which allows me to use this little controller button here. And it allows me to kind of go on Facebook alongside with my game open, which is kind of cool actually. It also allows for a couple of other apps, which would be... there's like WhatsApp and another one. I can't remember what it is. It's in the settings bar. But that's actually a pretty cool feature. If you have Motorola, I think it's called the Game Center. You can download it. But the chat bubbles really help. I usually keep mine up here in the top right corner above the cash button so that I don't accidentally hit the cash button and buy a bunch of stupid, worthless coins for my cash. So the next thing for being a good club member is what items are you selling and what items are you buying? Okay, so for example, in our group we have what is called a community depot. This depot is run by me. It's just a feeder city. I collect the taxes on it once a day, if I remember to get on the damn thing. But I collect the taxes on it, I refill the shops, I refill the factories with textiles, because textiles are like gold, right? They're used for flour, they're used for caps, they're used for all kinds of things. So I always refill it with tex, and I post everything for free. With the taxes and the war items I always put up for max, it's a lot easier for people to kind of have this little bit of relief. A lot of people in our group have millions of coins, but it's just kind of like an added bonus to being in the group. So what happens though is we don't make one person do all of the work. We don't make that community depot solely just on the community depot's responsibility. Everybody within the group kind of donates to it. For example, just a little bit ago, one of our group members had 15 extra melons that they didn't need, so I went and picked them up, and I'll use them to post in the community depot next week when the contest of mayors begins. Once each day I say, hey, somebody go clear this community depot out so that Daniel doesn't get any of it, or I just have them flip it, which a flip is where they buy and resell to you. The next thing is, if you don't want to do a community depot, what you can do is, another strategy that we also use is everybody within the group is kind of running their group as a community depot in a sense. So for example, high level players have a really hard time locating low level items such as planks, hammers, tape, paint, melons, saps. Those are very hard to find. And as a low level player, they're definitely more frequent, like chemicals. Those are really hard for me to find as well. So what you can do as a low level player to kind of relieve strain on the high level players in your group is, when you are on the global market, even if you don't need the item, post the items for sale in your depot for your group members. Now what we do is we don't allow people to just wipe out our depot. The rule is, if you need it, take it. If you don't need it, leave it for someone who does. Oftentimes people will just wipe people's depots out of pure greed. If nobody has a reason to be greedy, then you don't have to do that. Like, for example, if you're on global, you're gonna obviously wipe out someone's depot, right? But within your group, it just doesn't make sense. So usually what we do is we say full depot or open depot or whatever. People come to your depot, they grab what they need, they leave the rest for others. If you're hurting for space in your depot and you need to get it cleared out, or Daniel's going to buy it, then what we do is we say full depot going global in 5 minutes or 1 minute or whatever. This allows people to know that you want your stuff cleared out. It's a very simple strategy, right? And that way, when I mean, if I'm posting things like paint and saps and ladders and stuff, I'm not wanting people to just come and take it all because I'm not posting it to make money. You don't post items like that to make money. If you are, that's why you're broke, okay? Because you should be posting specific items for profit and specific items for just being helpful to your club members. In other words, you should be buying certain things, first making them, and making certain things for profit. Okay? What you make, buy, sell, all has to do with how your money gets added up. If you're constantly having to remake paint because you keep selling it, then that means that you're making less of something that would become more valuable to you, bring more profits. And that is oftentimes why people are broke, is because they buy, sell, and make all of the wrong things. If you watch my production plan video and you make the profitable items, keep the ones that you're supposed to keep, and only sell the profitable items, or to help club members, you're going to be completely fine. You should be able to hit 1 million coins in just a day or two. It's really not difficult when you actually put forth effort. You know, this is a strategy game. Yes, you can pick it up and play it and have no sense about you. I can open this game up and put whatever I want in my shops. I can put whatever I want in my depots. I can put I can buy whatever I want with my keys, you know, whatever. It's not going to pop up anything on my screen that says you died or you lose. Game over. It's not going to do that. The way it's going to punish me, the way it's going to show me that I'm not doing things right, is it's going to show me by me being broke, by me not being able to fill my request, by me not being able to be successful. That's how you see that your choices are bad. When other people are rolling in coins and you're broke, right? That means you're doing something wrong. And you have to realize that people don't wake up every day and have a routine and play with a strategy because they just want to for fun, right? It's because it's beneficial. It's because it yields good results. And your choices yield bad results and you keep doing them, right? If you're broke, it's your fault you're broke. It's not the game. It's not that EA sucks, which they do suck, but that's not why. Okay, you don't have to be broke. If you're broke, it's your fault. You're doing something way wrong, okay? If you're out of cash, that's your fault because you probably screwed up somewhere. In fact, I'm certain you screwed up somewhere. If you had restarted, followed the Missy's Building Guide, and played 100% efficiently, you would not be out of cash, you would not be out of coins, you would be in a really good spot. But it's something, a lot of that stuff is knowledge you gain with experience. You can't expect to just know this stuff. If you binge watch my channel, you won't be broke, you won't be hurting for cash, you won't be losing the contest. I give really good advice, but some people's cities are just too far gone and they need restarted. Not bulldoze. Bulldozing your work doesn't do you any good. I'm talking restarting. Okay? So just try the best you can to be a good member of your club and for yourself and for your teammates, but more importantly, finding a good club for you. You know, a lot of people, they get stuck in groups that aren't very good because they like one or two of the people, or they don't know where else to go, right? If you're somebody who wants a really specific type of group that is hard to find, then just make your own club. Yes, it's hard to get started, but make your group, advertise, you know, what your group's about, go to, you know, Facebook, go to Reddit. People will start to join in, and then you'll be able to prevail. Okay? All right, good luck to you guys.